my body. Every size, every line, every girl, every guy, everybody who don't identify.
Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Hi, hello, my name is Loey. So I have been debating for hours whether or not I would just sit down and film this and put my thoughts and opinions out there and kind of see what you guys think. I can't get this subject out of my head, and even though it's a little bit dark for my channel, which I know a lot of you are like, really? I talk about ghosts and spooky things and dark web things and all sorts of stuff all of the time. Demons, literal demons, don't scare me as much as McKamey Manor does. I am going to be telling you about a place that is very real, that is very just twisted and dark beyond anything I've ever discussed before. I just needed to know that I had put a proper warning in place before we go on with this subject, because this is not for the faint of heart. That's literally one of the freaking things that McKamey Manor uses in its stupid messaging. But in all seriousness, this video is not for the faint of heart. These videos that come from the manor that I'm not going to be displaying here today, but that you can find very easily online, they are not for the faint of heart. Do not go searching for this if you do not want it to literally crawl inside of your psyche. Because I have been aware of McKamey Manor for years and years and years. I used to be obsessed with the idea of extreme haunted houses where they could grab you or, you know, scare you in ways beyond just jumping in your face and yelling boo. I just did Universal Hollywood Studios Horror Nights last night as I am filming this for the final night of the season, and that's very much so like what I'm used to in terms of haunted houses. Just someone jumping out at you, a little bit of water sprayed in your face, which I really don't appreciate because I was wearing lashes last night, but that kind of stuff is what I'm used to. But I have been aware of McKamey Manor for years and years. I just didn't realize how bad it truly was, and once I started going down this rabbit hole, it literally consumed me. So the reason that McKamey Manor is resurfacing and kind of going viral is because Netflix actually just released a documentary, well, kind of, it's like a multi-part series called Dark Tourist, and McKamey Manor was featured in season 1, episode 8. Their extensive 40-page waiver seems to be what all of the media outlets are highlighting right now. The absurdity that you could sign up for one of these haunted houses and spend literally up to 5 hours just reading through the waiver. But actually, some of my favorite YouTubers, Ready to Glare, Natalia Taylor, and C. Jades, have all put up videos on McKamey Manor, and deep diving into those along with the Dark Tourist episode itself, along with actual McKamey Manor videos uploaded by the psychopath who runs it, I just have so many questions and so many theories. And so this is going to be a very like casual, me just telling you what I know, my personal theories on this haunted attraction kind of video. For legal reasons, I'm also going to add that all of this information is alleged. I am not accusing anyone of anything. I am taking information that I have gotten offline. If that is not accurate, I did research to the best of my abilities, but you know, what can you do? I've never been to McKamey Manor. I will never go there. I cannot say for sure that any of this happened or didn't happen or was staged or wasn't staged. So all of this is alleged. It's also all my opinion. I mean zero harm, but I also think this has to be talked about. If you've ever Googled the most extreme haunted houses in the world, or if you're like me and you don't really even care about haunted attractions and you've just Googled most haunted house in the world thinking it was going to be a spooky ghost location, you have probably stumbled across something, some sort of piece, some sort of article, some sort of listicle that includes McKamey Manor. It is often referred to as the most extreme haunt in all of North America, if not the world. So remember that 40-page waiver that I mentioned in the beginning of this video? before you can even come close to signing that, you will be put on a wait list if you are even interested in McKamey Manor. Like, to even get to that form on the website, it tells you over and over and over again, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do this, you don't want to go through this like place. They have footage everywhere of people literally being freaking tortured to prevent you from even sending that email. But let's say hypothetically you wind up expressing your interest for some reason. You will be put onto a wait list of 25,000 people who all know and understand the risks of even participating or thinking to participate in something like this. So then after a year or years of waiting to wind up getting your chance to be a part of an experience at the manor, you have to go through a complete health physical, both physical and mental. So you have to take an actual physical, like I said, by a doctor who says that you are cleared to do extreme activity essentially, and that there are no reasons why you can't go into McKamey Manor. You also have to undergo a psych evaluation in which your therapist or somebody has to evaluate that you are not struggling with any mental conditions that might prohibit you from being able to experience like genuinely the most terrifying stuff you've ever heard of in your life. Then the owner of McKamey Manor, Russ, will contact you multiple times through either Skype or Facebook Messenger, using their video chat feature to basically have a conversation with you, learn why you want to do the manor, learn your deepest, darkest fears, everything that makes you tick, basically learn your entire past history, childhood traumas, like you name it, and this guy wants to know it. Then you have to watch a 2-hour long video that is available for viewing on YouTube right now of everyone up until like 2016, I think, who had attempted McKamey Manor and failed, which is all of them, by the way. You can't win, you can't escape. Whatever the goal is, you go into this house and Russ McKamey will win every single time. Like, the system is entirely rigged against you. No one has lasted longer than like a few hours, basically. And it's meant to last at least 8 to 10 hours. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You have to watch a full 2-hour video of people saying why they quit McKamey Manor. And they have like this safe phrase that says something like, Russ McKamey stole my milk money, took my lunch, and McKamey Manor kicked my butt, I quit. It's something along those lines. And if you don't watch that video, you will not be able to participate, because then when you have to sign the 40-page waiver before you even go into McKamey Manor, Russ will quiz you on this video and ask like various questions you could only know if you had truly viewed it. So I hear you all saying at home, okay, you've talked for like 5 minutes about how difficult it is to even sign up for McKamey Manor, but why would I want to? Like, what is entailed? Well, I think that the waiver and the leaked pages that have been put online are a pretty good indication, actually, of what happens in there. So here are just a few of the nightmarish things that you could go through when participating in McKamey Manor. And just to be totally fair, the people who participate read through this, and they do know that this is a possibility. But also, on the same note, watching Ready to Glare's video, she said, you know, she went skydiving and she had to sign a waiver that said, if you die, can't sue us. I don't think that people assume all of this kind of stuff is going to happen. But anyways, let's just look at a few of the things that can happen. Participant understands that they may incur injuries from falling props in the event that they become unstable during the tour. Pretty standard, right? Participant fully understands and agrees that they may come in contact with carbon monoxide poisoning with regard to use of artificial fog. Again, you know, lots of haunted attractions use artificial fog, whatever. Participant fully understands and agrees that once participant enters McKamey Manor, there is no quitting. unless serious physical or psychological injury is present. Now, this is slightly outdated. They do have a safe word now, but for years and years and years, they did not. Russ McKamey has stated once before that the average time of people in his haunted location, at least one of them, was a grand total of 8 minutes. So that's taking from people who enter and get freaked out in the first 30 seconds and then people who last a few hours. But 8 minutes is like the median. And for years, they did not have a safe word. You could not opt out until they were done with you, basically. Participant fully understands that injuries may occur during their tour of McKamey Manor, which may include, but not limited to, head, neck, and back injuries, death, stroke, traumatic brain injury, so on, so forth. Literally, nausea, headache, dizziness. This sounds like a warning for like a medication you're gonna take. Like, here are the side effects of going into McKamey Manor. Broken or sprained bones, torn ligaments, bleeding wounds, scrapes and or cuts, heat stroke or drowning, and does not hold McKamey Manor responsible. Participant fully understands and agrees that being scared, having a panic attack, etc. does not count as a serious injury. They also understand that their tour may include the use of hypodermic needles, zappers, tasers, or dog shock collars. Participant fully understands and agrees that they may be crushed in a pit by various objects. They also understand and agree that various fluids such as food coloring, grease, theatrical blood, or other liquids may be placed in the participant's mouth. It is the participant's responsibility not to swallow these fluids. Although, in several of these videos, and I'm going to keep the details very minimal because for those of you who are watching, the stuff that is in these videos, I can't believe it is on YouTube. Like, it feels like I literally stumbled onto the dark web when I found the uploads of McKamey Manor tours. In this waiver, they claim it is your responsibility not to swallow these fluids, but then in walkthroughs of people's experiences, they are being screamed at and slapped in the face and spit on and being forced to swallow various fluids or digest things that some participants have even claimed should not be eaten by people. I've watched people immediately get sick after this, and then even more disgusting things happen. So I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of that, but like, the waiver is bull also, FYI. This is on to a different waiver. The font is slightly different. I definitely think that like pages have gotten leaked over the years. Russ McKamey says he will never release the waiver online, which I totally understand because why would anyone come there? These are a lot darker, by the way. Participant agrees to partake if they are selected to partake in a height stunt that involves walking a plank 25 feet above ground without a safety net. I went to a Cirque du Soleil show when I was in Vegas a few months back, and an actor fell and they were basically over water, and you could have heard a pin drop in that entire auditorium. People were so afraid, and they were, you know, like probably that high off the ground on a trapeze, and that was a trained professional who knew how to fall. They are saying that you could fall in a height stunt with nothing to catch you. They are warned of poisonous animals, as well as acknowledging and agreeing to be submerged in 60 feet of open water. Participant acknowledges and agrees that their breathing apparatus will be removed and that it is the participant's responsibility to make their way back to the surface. Like, it's literally like the movie Saw. In the same waiver, at the very top, you're warned that you can be buried alive and that you pretty much have to figure it the heck out. Like, you could be buried underground beneath soil and dirt, like up to 12 feet, and you just have to figure out how you're going to get out. And if you stop breathing, oh well. And unlike Saw, which is a fictional movie with a plot line, and these people are being put, I actually really like the Saw movies, but these people are being put through these tests to make them stronger, or they've committed some kind of crime and they deserve this or whatever. That's all fictional. That's well and good. That is Hollywood, baby. This is real life with real people. And McKamey Manor does not exactly have a clean bill of health. No one has died, but one man or one person, they've never specified, one person had a heart attack. And in a documentary, Russ McKamey said, when the heart attack was brought up, oh yeah, we had a heart attack 7 years ago. That was cool. Who watches, I'm laughing because it's so absurd. Who watches someone have a heart attack because they are so terrified, going through so much psychological and physical torture and torment, sees them have a heart attack and then is like, yeah, that was cool. There are a few more bullet points I want to hit here that are really important. One I really wanted to read just for the heck of it is, it is quite possible that they come in contact with raw sewage. That is disgusting. What is wrong with you? But okay. Participant understands for this specific show only that participant is being offered a safe phrase. It is up to the participant to use this phrase due to their weakness if they feel they need such a weak precaution as a safe phrase. And people are quitting within seconds of entering the show. The guy who runs Dark Tourist didn't even make it into the show. He went through the waiver, was blindfolded, like basically his mouth was spread open, and I won't, again, it's very gruesome, but like he was slapped in the face a few times, pretty much psychologically tormented. He had to wear these giant earphones where somebody was just like basically demonically grumbling into his ears. He had to quit before he even went into the van that took him to the manor. So, and he was like weeping like when he was done, and there's absolutely no shame in that, but like here this waiver is like making it seem like, oh, it's just a little walk in the park, as it's also saying like, hey, we can pull your teeth out without any Novocaine whatsoever, or pull off your fingernails, but you're weak for needing a safe word. I'm sorry if I'm very animated in this. Like I said, this has consumed me for like hours. I think Russ McKamey is sick in the freaking head. I think he is the epitome of a psychopath. And I don't just throw that around loosely, but I will get into that also. The very last thing in this waiver is the answer to a question that I kept asking myself, which is, how is McKamey Manor, a torture house, staying open? Because they don't charge for entry into the house. Well, they do, but it's just a request. You don't even really have to pay anything. For a bag of dog food, because Russ has like 5 dogs. If you show up with a bag of dog food, pretty much that's it. And you don't even really have to do that. Donations are accepted, but they are not required. So let's kind of outline this here for a minute. McKamey Manor is a haunt that has moved within the last few years, actually, from San Diego to Tennessee, has a second location now in Huntsville, Alabama, has live actors who are doing the torturing, basically, includes poisonous animals from time to time, has animatronics, torture devices, as well as an entire space to do this in, vans to get you to and from, like they drug test everyone the day of the tour. There's a lot of money going into this. So where is it all coming from? Russ McKamey, in an interview, and again, I've really been diving into this, really dodges the question of how is this being paid for. He used to be a lot more open in his interviews and a lot more earnest to talk about it. And he, back in the day, said he had sunk easily $500,000 already into McKamey Manor, and this was years ago. This was actually a different Netflix documentary, all on the art of the haunt. I'll put the full name out right here. But basically, in that one, his ex-wife, or at least I'm assuming it was his ex-wife, because they broke up and then he was with someone else, and we'll get into that, I swear. In that video, she said he had spent his entire life savings on it. So where's the profit for this coming from? He does work as a wedding singer, bone-chillingly enough, and a DJ on the side. Very weird, but I also know that's not paying the bills. He was actually in the Navy for upwards of 20 years and he gets an $800 pension check every single month, but that is not keeping the lights on for McKamey Manor. Well, you might be saying he uploads these videos of people's walkthroughs of McKamey Manor onto YouTube, and they're usually pretty long, so he's probably making AdSense off of that, right? No, because every single upload, and I checked, not all of them, but I checked most of them, almost every single upload is age restricted. And when you age restrict content, whether it is self-imposed or an age restriction is put onto you by YouTube, you lose all of your ads, or most of them. Maybe you get like some kind of advertising on it, but it's like pennies compared to normal AdSense, which can also sometimes just be pennies too. But his videos are demonetized. I mean, there's no way in the year 2019 YouTube is like monetizing that content. He's not charging admission fees. He also claims if you can make it through the full 10 hours of the McKamey Manor experience, he will just pay you 20 grand, which has never happened because no one has ever made it through, because they will just torture you until you freaking break. And I don't think anyone is crazy enough to stay in until they basically like come to the brink of death. So where is the money coming from? The final part of this page of the waiver. Participant agrees that their entire tour will be viewed by a live audience in Las Vegas, the Philippines, and or Thailand, and that they will act appropriately. This place is a red room. I get so uncomfortable even thinking about this, and once again, let's go into my theory section because I don't know any of this is fact. If you've never heard of a red room, it is essentially a dark web thing where people pay to enter a room and watch torture, basically. There's another word for it, torture P, but I'm not gonna say that. And I truly believe that McKamey Manor is just one giant red room. Allegedly, he's admitted elsewhere that these people who are watching these live streams are actually bidding on what should happen next or on who will last the longest. And I believe that's where most of this income is coming from. The things that these people endure are crazy. And let me also say that this has a bizarre fan base of people who have not only been and failed and had the absolute life scared out of them, but want to go back. I've seen exit testimonials from a woman who had her head shaved inside of the manor, and went back a second time and is gonna go again. Somebody directed me to this guy's TikTok account, and it's like this dude in the military who went, didn't make it through, says he loved it, loved every minute of the torture in hindsight. Obviously in the moment he didn't, and that he's excited to go back, and maybe there's just a group of people that's into this. I don't know. McKamey Manor videos include people sobbing, begging for someone to just like let them quit. One of the parts that has disturbed me the most about this, beyond those people who willingly do this, it's still, I feel like this cannot be legal. And somebody, again, in the comment section of Ready to Glare's video explained this very well, that if they gave someone permission to harm them and said, all right, you can do this to me, you know, you can harm me, or let's go a step further, you can kill me. If that person still killed them, they would not be off the hook. They're still gonna go to jail for murder. So why is this guy being allowed to rip teeth out of people's mouths, pull fingernails off, shave people's heads, ignore their safe words? We'll get into that. This guy has stated over and over and over again that this entire thing is a performance. It's an act. And he is disturbingly charming. And I think that a lot of people would probably disagree with me there. And I don't mean in his general interviews or anything like that, but really getting into these McKamey Manor videos. The way that he talks to these people, like he is their best freaking friend. 2 seconds before doing something horrific to them is so disturbing. The way that he will sit there and be like, what's going on, buddy? Are you okay? And these people are screaming at him, begging him to let them go because they can't take this anymore. And he's just like, no, we're not gonna do that. You're okay, you're good, you're not hurt. And then goes right back to freaking torturing them. Like, it's like, I've never seen anything like it, actually. If you quit, he suddenly switches it up and he's giving you a blanket, some hot chocolate, and like some cookies, talking to you about the experience like y'all just went for a little walk in the park and something jumped out at you and said boo. Like, he literally acts like he wasn't just spitting in your face or like dunking your head underwater. Like, these people are waterboarded and like trapped in coffins and buried alive, and he acts like nothing happened. I think that that's the scariest part, is the way that this man acts like nothing happened. I've watched a lot of McKamey Manor's videos on YouTube. I've endured a lot of them. And also a lot of them, while they are very long, have been put to music and rough cut, kind of like jump cut. So it's almost like a highlight reel. I have a theory that those full videos and those full experiences are being sold elsewhere. Russ has said in an interview that the only thing he cares about is getting the perfect shot. He makes these movies and that's it. He said he would never do McKamey Manor if he couldn't film it. I believe that those full videos are being sold somewhere that is not the surface web. I think he's selling them on the dark web. I literally do. And that's not an accusation. That's not, like, that is my personal theory. On top of that, he's admitted that he live streams them, and people bid on the outcome. So there's money coming in there. So in this Art of the Haunt documentary on Netflix, his neighbor winds up meeting with people who run it. And also it's such a disgrace to this documentary that McKamey Manor is even in it. There's like all of these incredible haunted locations, but you know what I mean? Like these haunts, like Not Scary Farm, where they have these incredible actors and actresses in hair and makeup and like, you know, like putting on these characters and running these full theatrical performances, or Universal Studios Hollywood running horror nights. Or there was this one guy in this documentary who spent like $1,000 a year running a haunted house out of his backyard and had like such a success story from it, and like came from that into doing like prop work and all sorts of stuff. Like there's literally this like documentary filled with all of these like really cool haunts. And then there's friggin' McKamey Manor, which is a glorified torture chamber. But in this documentary, a neighbor of McKamey Manor spoke out, and she said she had watched them put on the haunt for years and years and years. Essentially one day she was like, I'm just gonna go try it out. She goes down, immediately realizes there's something very, very wrong there, and runs all the way back to her house. The wife of Russ McKamey tracks her down in a car and literally puts her in the car, takes her back to the location where she is forced to go through. You can hear her the entire time in the documentary during these clips that I don't know why in the world Russ McKamey would put out, because it's so incriminating, of this poor woman screaming for her life, begging to be let go, saying like, you promised we weren't gonna do this, I have to go, like leave me alone, like let me go. In the documentary she says that the one thing she wouldn't do was be buried alive, and Russ was like, yeah, we won't do that to you. And then the first thing he does is bury her alive. She's like having a panic attack, like practically going comatose. He literally tortured her. She went home, and then he tricked her into coming back. Like, he said in the documentary he had tricked her 3 times into coming to the manor, and I can't imagine, like, what is that like? Like, he's such, like I said, I think he's genuinely kind of like a charming, manipulative person when he talks. Like, I can see that happening to someone, you know what I mean? Especially when it's like your neighbor and you're like, oh, hey, we're not gonna do this to you, you'll be totally fine. And then that's the first thing that you do. There have been very serious allegations on this place that I won't get into today, and maybe I'll make a follow-up exposing McKamey Manor. if I can kind of figure out how to word things and maybe just dig a little bit deeper so I'm not accusing anybody of anything before I have like the facts. But there have been allegations of sexual misconduct. There have been allegations of obviously like severe abuse. People have had to go through like years and years and years of therapy. People diagnosed with PTSD from this. A person had a freaking heart attack there. Like it's not normal. Like he was literally kicked out of San Diego practically. Like cops called on him because they'll see his guys like kidnapping and beating these random strangers and then putting them into a van, and you know what I mean? Like nothing about it is good. There is no good outcome whatsoever. But there have been very serious allegations towards him, which once again, I won't really go into. I think once again, Ready to Glare really touches on the allegations against him very well in a follow-up video of hers. Actually, his ex-partner Holly came out and made some pretty serious claims against him, which I find fascinating because Holly wasn't even just his partner. So he had a wife in like the first documentary that came out of him like in 2016 or something like that, and his wife and him had been together since like high school basically. So they split up. Then he got a much younger partner. She's very pretty, like very young. I was very surprised, but she literally worked in the manor. And actually I was going through the website and it hadn't been updated since 2018. She had an entire playground to herself. So she wasn't just like with him, you know, tolerating this, like watching it happen. She was participating. Even she has come out and said he's a horrible person with a horrible string of things behind him, allegedly. And it's just so weird. The whole thing is so freaking weird. To summarize, because I know this has been like half an hour of me just spewing information at you, McKamey Manor is the most extreme haunted house in the world. It is a torture house. The owner has been accused of very serious things. There are allegations of the safe word not always being respected. The videos online are just disgusting. It truly seems like it has some kind of affiliation with the dark web, allegedly, in my opinion. The whole thing is a mess. I know this is a bit outside of the realm of what I normally talk about, but at the same time, you guys have also been requesting a video on this so freaking much. My email, my inbox, everything is just flooded. So I hope you guys enjoyed, as dark as I know this was. I love you very much. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please never go to McKamey Manor. Don't even freaking consider it. This is a request though. If you are someone who has participated, or you know someone who has participated in McKamey Manor, please send an email to my LoeyLane storytime@gmail.com email if you want to tell me a bit about your story and have it read here on my channel. I'm very interested, whether it's from the perspective of you did it, you thought it was crazy, you know, you didn't know what you were getting yourself into, or you did it and you loved it. I'm so intrigued by this in every way. I'm disgusted, I'm fascinated, like in all of the worst ways, but I'm so curious to know what people think, or people who have been through it think. So anyways, with that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video. I love you. Thanks for watching. Okay.